Hello once again, Oregon Trio Association. It is your Executive Director, Matt Bezick, here with an August video update for you. I have a lot of items, but most of these are things you all have heard of before, or I'm just bringing up again as we are in some of the quieter months of our summer, so I'm going to try to rapid fire get through these as fast as I can. First, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to throw it up on screen. Last time, I'm going to remind everybody the allowable cost services. So if you have some funds you are in need of spending down and could use some assistance in a variety of different aspects, OTA has a lot of different strengths and a lot of different kind of above and beyond services that we can offer to you to help you spend those funds down. So go ahead and click on the link in the email to fill out a form for your interest, and we can start some communications about what you are looking to get assistance with. Next, those FAFSA or Summer Bridge workshops. We do still have funding available. They did add an extension, so it can go, I can spend even into September. So anybody who's looking to do some work with students to help get some more FAFSAs completed or provide Summer Bridge support in August, in September, you still have time to submit a request, and OTA can provide funding to provide some snacks and food, as well as provide some stipends to your staff who are present at the event for helping out your students. Now, for the professional development schedule, going into August, we still just have those connection calls. We know a lot of people are off this month, so they've been relatively low attended, but that's okay. That was anticipated. I also want to make sure that I highlight we have a professional development survey that is out there right now. We're trying to get your feedback and get you to weigh in on what you want us to prioritize over the next year in terms of our professional development. So the link to that survey is going to be in the email, and we'd love if you could complete that and weigh in on what it is you would like to see us offer you over the next year. Next, I've gotten feedback from several programs, but still have a lot of them that are out there, as our compensation survey. So again, on the email, there's going to be a link. It's an Excel document, and that Excel document is just a template that I would love for your program to complete so we can get a holistic view of what compensation looks like for your program. And then OTA is going to kind of put all that together and create a much more robust and specific compensation reports on what it looks like working in a TRIO program in Oregon, and provide that to all of you. So that way, if you are one of those programs that is trying to negotiate for higher raises, increasing your place within the HR kind of steps or classification, that you can help use this as a tool to have those conversations with your HR departments and your bosses. As far as scholarship due dates, there's only one that is coming due anytime soon, and that is our Fall Last Mile scholarship. So it is August 24th is the due date for that. So you still have through most of the month to help your students who are looking for that little bit of extra funding going into fall term that are close to graduating. So August 24th is our deadline for our Fall Last Mile. Once again, I'm going to do a call for volunteers. OTA is putting together a DEI task force that has kind of a two-step process. We're looking to both review OTA's internal policies and procedures as it relates to all things DEI and make sure that we are being intentional and ongoing in terms of updating that and making sure that we have a policy that works for us and reflects us and the students that we work with. But we also want that group to maybe put together some recommendations or some policies, best practices that could be used by the actual TRIO programs within Oregon. I've had a handful of volunteers who want to be on the task force. We're looking to start that once we hit September. So really right now it's just a call for volunteers. So if you or anybody on your staff has interest in impacting this and influencing and being part of this group, in terms of time commitment, they're probably going to meet just 1 hour meeting, maybe twice a week over couple months. We're talking 4 to 6 meetings. We don't want to rush the process by any means, but we want this to be very action orientated. So looking to make some good recommendations and have stuff that can be immediately implemented by both OTA and the programs that we are serving throughout the state. So if you have any interest, please email me directly. I can answer any questions you may have about the task force and make sure you get on that email list for future communications. Our Nexus TRIO newsletter. There's been 2 of them that have gone out there. I put both of those on the listserv, kind of forwarded them. I've seen a lot of you have subscribed, but I'm not going to be forwarding that anymore. I'm just going to let it sit so that way those who subscribe get those notifications. But I'm going to put a link in the email for you to subscribe to that newsletter, but it's just a curated list of kind of all of the different readings and updates that we get as it relates to TRIO, Oregon education, student opportunities, general just articles and that sort of thing. So the idea is OTA subscribes to all those other newsletters and kind of funnels all the relevant information to you, so you maybe don't have to read through all of that information. So just a nice kind of abridged context of what seems relevant to us in TRIO programs and our students. I want to take a moment. A lot of the things that we do in the professional development, we record them, and I don't often want to keep spamming the listserv with Zoom recordings of that. So what I do is I just download them and put them on our YouTube channel. So in the email, I'm going to put a link to our YouTube channel. This can be a really good resource to like any prior recording we've ever done, any professional development session we've ever done lives on our YouTube page. So I just want to draw some attention there. So that way, if you are wanting to, after the fact, go and review anything, or you have some new staff that would benefit from reviewing some of the prior recordings and materials that we've covered, it all just lives right there, as long as these video updates, if you really want to go back and see what I was talking about a year from now. But just encourage folks to just know that that exists and that you can send your staff there for additional resources. All right, next I wanted to just briefly, I've sent this out over the listserv, but I'm doing some work trying to expand the number of high schools we're writing talent search proposals for. So if you are doing the work of pre-college TRIO and you are interested in expanding and serving some new high schools, or you just want the current high schools you're already in to get some information or to educate them about what talent search is, OTA is going to be hosting two. They're both identical, but on August 12th at 10 a.m. and then on August 13th at 3 p.m. They're just going to be these informational calls that are meant more for the schools, whether it's superintendents, principals, the people you work with, so we can educate them about what talent search is and kind of what goes into them being a partner, whether they're applying for it or working with a community college or a nonprofit. I'm just going to educate them and hopefully get folks excited about getting TRIO into new schools as we're starting to do that work before the competition in 2025. So if there's anything you can do to help spread that message and get it to people that you think would benefit from being in those information sessions. I'm going to be doing more in September and October, but we thought we'd at least start by doing a couple in August in case there were folks sitting around without too much to do on the admin side for our high schools. A while back, we had announced that OTA is investing in tutor.com. So Robin has been working with a lot of you, both institutions who are interested in getting primary contacts to get students actually signed up and registered once we start that in September. So I'm just saying this as a reminder that, again, OTA is paid for tutor.com. We've done the initial setup fee. So the way this is going to work is that if you want your students to be able to take advantage of this 24/7, 365 tutoring resource, the cost is $65 per student. So every single program in Oregon, all the TRIO programs have your own kind of dedicated school. So you can enroll a roster of students who you would like to have access to this resource. And then what I will do, I will just invoice programs at the end of the month for any new users that are signed up. But again, that starts in September, and we know it's going to be a bit of an ongoing process getting students enrolled. If you have any questions about that, the process, how the billing works, just anything at all, how to use it, we're going to be doing some informational calls. Robin's going to organize, just showing you all how to help navigate it and what the tools and resources look like. So it's going to be an ongoing process, but we just want to get it on your radar as you're starting to plan next year, that there is this really affordable tutoring option, because you only need to pay for the students who actually use it. You don't have to enroll every single student that is on your roster, just the students who actually want tutoring are going to show up. So it could be a much more cost-effective way to provide tutoring without having to pay for it for your entire caseload. So if you have any questions, again, myself, Robin, be happy to address those directly with you. Similarly, OTA had gotten a clearinghouse access. So anybody who wants to use OTA's access to do the single student lookups when you're doing APR to check if your students have graduated, we now have access to that. You don't need to pay for it out of your budget. If it's complex to use your institution's system for looking it up, we have one that you can use. We are not going to advertise how to log into that account. We want folks to reach out to us directly, so that way everybody doesn't have it. We're trying to keep it towards the admin and the directors who do the work and do the research to look up students in Clearinghouse. But once again, reach out to myself, reach out to Robin, and we can provide you with the credentials to get logged in and provide a little bit of coaching if you haven't used it before. But it sounds like a lot of you are familiar with it and know how to navigate and do the student lookup. So want to just, again, get it on your radar. That is an active tool you can already use as people are starting to do some of the digging after our trio year ends at the end of August, and we're starting their pre-APR work. And finally, I always end it with every one of these. Summertime, there's a lot of new staff, new turnover. If you have any new staff at all, please let us know. We want to make sure that they are getting these updates, that they're added to the listserv, both with Oregon and the NAIOP. I kind of manage both, so I can add them to both of those. Robin wants to make sure they're invited to the new trio onboarding calls every month we do, just to help introduce folks. So it's hard for us to really know every single employee that's new. We can't skim your websites often enough. They're often not updated that often enough for that to be relevant. So just letting us know is a simple email is all that's required to make sure that we can bring them into the larger OTA family. And with that, this is probably going to be the only video update I do for this month, though I will continue to send probably an email update in the middle of the month, just to keep everybody on track with anything that's happening as we all gear up for the end of this year and the start of the new academic year. The board with Oregon Trio Association is meeting next week, so we are working on finalizing our timeline of events and dates and all the scholarship due dates and everything for the whole academic year. So I will be excited to report back out to that at the end of August, beginning of September. So with that, I appreciate you watching. Hope everyone is getting some great rest and relaxation in these summer months, and I will see you soon. Take care.